beautiful 77-degree day in South Florida. Sellout crowd, better than 19,000 turning out in true Miami tradition. Some folks still making their way into American Airlines Arena. NBA on TNT Premier Week is presented by Autotrader.com. It's the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat, with the Heat playing their home opener, coming off that convincing win in Dallas on Christmas Day. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Steve Kerr. The czar, Mike Fratello, will be joined momentarily by Craig Sager working the sideline. Both clubs about ready to go. Let's check out the starting lineups presented by Budweiser. For the Celtics, at the point, Rajon Rondo had that dazzling all-around game in Boston's loss to the Knicks on Sunday. On the front line, Kevin Garnett, Sasha Pavlovich once again filling in for the injured Paul Pierce, and Jermaine O'Neal at the other guard spot. It's future Hall of Famer Ray Allen. For the Heat, LeBron James at the top of his game in Dallas on Sunday. Also up front, Chris Bosh and Joel Anthony. In the backcourt, Mario Chalmers and Dwayne Wade, who, like LeBron, had a superb game against the Mavericks. And what strikes you about Miami, and we also saw it in the abbreviated preseason, they are playing at a very fast pace with a great deal of energy.
Well, they're playing faster, they're playing more aggressively, and LeBron James and Dwayne Wade are making a concerted effort to post up and attack the rim. In fact, 0 three-point attempts the other night for either one of them in that game in Dallas.
For Boston, Doc Rivers petitioned the NBA for a 45-second clock to try and use up a little more time and slow things down. Pace and tempo important for the Celtics.
Dwayne Wade looking to pump up the crowd even more so. The officiating crew, Dick Bavetta in his 37th season. He has reffed more games and for more years than anyone in the history of the NBA. Dick working with Dan Crawford and Orlando's Poole, and we are set. Celtics controlling the opening tip.
2,499 consecutive games for Dick Bavetta tonight.
Allen draws the foul. He was hacked in their season opener Sunday afternoon at Madison Square Garden. Fouls on Joel Anthony. Celtics lost to the Knicks in a high-intensity game. And what a performance by Carmelo Anthony, who was just sensational. 37 points, 17 in the fourth quarter. Doc Rivers going with Sasha Pavlovich in the absence of Paul Pierce, and we saw Marquise Daniels also on Anthony, and they couldn't do a thing against Carmelo.
They couldn't do anything, and Doc lamented the fact that he didn't send a double team Carmelo's way afterwards. But I think that the challenge tonight will be finding enough points against this incredibly fast Miami defense. And I think that Boston's going to have to get off to a quicker start. Remember, Sunday got off to that horrible slow start during which Doc Rivers called his team soft.
Bosh. Chris Bosh had a low-key performance the other day against Dallas in foul trouble. Ball's deflected out. Last touch by Wade, but what a start for Miami in Dallas this after the Mavericks raised the championship banner. And the Heat can certainly relate to what happened to the Mavericks following all the excitement of putting that banner up. Remember opening night here against the Chicago Bulls after Miami had won the title 5 years ago. Following the wild scene during the introductions, the hysteria that took place, the Heat was blown out by 42 points by the Bulls.
Yeah, looked almost exactly the same the other night in Dallas, didn't it?
Joel Anthony.
Couple new sets that Miami has snuck in here. Boston not quite ready for the rotations on that one. They'll straighten it out during a timeout, I'm sure.
Doc Rivers saying they have to slow down the pace against this quick-moving Miami team. Garnett from deep.
I think he has to do that all night tonight. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to look to get 20 to 25 points. With no Paul Pierce, Garnett has to be a factor offensively in order for Boston to win.
Pierce was out with that bruised heel injury. Michael Petras, who was signed and passed his physical as Bosh came up with air. not quite available. He is still recovering from injury. Offensive foul.
Offensive foul on the Celtics.
It is on Jermaine O'Neal.
Bosh trying to get his body in front of O'Neal so O'Neal couldn't get the low post-up position. That could have been called either way. Dick Bavetta felt that the offensive player tried to dislodge him, move him out of the way with his shoulder. The offensive foul.
Farmers on a quick release from downtown.
You can see much more flow to this Miami offense this year already. In Dallas the other night, there was so much more weak side movement, player movement. Remember last year, there were so many cases where the ball just stopped. This year, much better rhythm to this team.
Rondo played on a switch by James. Rondo kicks it back out. Here's Pavlovich for three. Here comes Miami. Wade, pass off the mark, saved by Chalmers, but he stepped out. He's on the baseline.
They really fly at you. You've got to get back in transition, so it makes it tough to go to the offensive glass. But you see a little bit of ball movement here. The step back after the back pick screen. There's the three for Chalmers.
Now, there was some concern yesterday among the Celtics that Kevin Garnett might be suspended for his lunge at the former Celtic Bill Walker. That was right after the final buzzer. Garnett had missed a shot that would have tied the game in New York. Apparently Walker said something to Garnett, but no suspension and no fine that we've heard about.
Well, Charles referred to it in the studio as a mush, not a push, it was a mush. I like that. That's exactly what it was. It was kind of mushed him. I didn't think it deserved a suspension or anything like that.
LeBron James drills it. Miami with a 9-4 lead.
Steve, let me ask your thinking on the fact that you have Rondo, who runs the ball so well back at people, yet you've got a couple of the old-timers in Garnett and Allen, who gets a give-and-go pass from Garnett, and then O'Neal. So how do you control the tempo? Do you push and let Rondo get out in front, or do you control it and let the other guys get involved?
Well, I think the whole key against Miami, no matter who you are, you can't turn it over. And when Rondo does have an advantage, like the other day in New York, he's got to push it. Sometimes he's a one-man fast break because these old guys don't want to run with him.
Oh, what a move by Dwayne Wade. The Heat opening up, hitting 5 of their first 6 shots. Pavlovich for 3. Sasha Pavlovich, who did not take a shot the other day against the Knicks and was in foul trouble. And now Pavlovich is called for that foul.
You see the isolation in the middle of the floor. Wade starts left, and then when he spins back, just too athletic for Allen at that point to defend him. Watch how deep he gets on the pullback move. He's inside the broken line area. It's like a layup.
4 minutes gone by here in Miami. Strong move by Bosh to draw the foul on O'Neal. Chris Bosh showing us the spin.
And you see what happens when Miami gets a little movement before the action. All of a sudden, that quick hitting move from a guy like Bosh or Wade or LeBron, so much easier to attack the rim after you've gotten some flow to the offense. And these quick hitting moves are impossible to guard. Last year, much easier to cover because there was so much standing around.
Second foul on Jermaine O'Neal. And Brandon Bass, who played very well on Sunday in New York, will come on off the bench. Bass had 20 points, 11 rebounds, 5 on the offensive glass.
You know, there's a number of different ways you can get people into the low post area. One, they can just flash there from the opposite side. There can be a back pick screen, then they turn around, button hook from there. You can get a cross screen on the baseline. All different ways of getting the people into the post area with some movement to get the offense started.
I thought it was really interesting talking to Eric Spoelstra. We asked him about that motion and that movement. He said at the beginning of last year, Miami was averaging 4 weak side cuts without the ball per game. 4. I mean, that's nothing. First 2 games in the preseason and the first game against Dallas, they're averaging 15. So much different look offensively.
Pavlovich's pass picked off. Here comes LeBron, chased by Rondo. LeBron James put the speed on and put it down.
There's your combination of speed and power at the end.
Open shot for Bass. Yes.
Well, what a great pickup Brandon Bass is going to be for this club as Chalmers throws it out of bounds. We're going to see a foul first, I think, on Pavlovich for holding LeBron, but how about the play before, though? Miami will absolutely punish you if you turn the ball over because they've got the world's two greatest finishers in transition in Wade and LeBron. The power, you mentioned it, Mike, the speed and the power of this guy, just ridiculous.
You know you cannot throw a cross-court pass when either Wade or LeBron are on the weak side. They're always anticipating it. They shoot the gap so quickly.
Chalmers try to go down low on the hop. It's deflected out. Last touch by Garnett. Pavlovich taking a seat after picking up a second foul.
You look at the fast break individual point leaders from a year ago, LeBron and Wade.
Oh, what a
fake.
And almost hit on a wild reverse.
Attack. I mean, you can feel the difference. And, you know, I don't mean to kind of denigrate what they did last year, because by the end of the season they were terrific. It was early in the year when Miami struggled. But our lasting memory of this club is the one that sort of fell apart against Dallas. Before that, they were incredible in the playoffs against this team and against Chicago. But that failure in the finals is kind of the lasting memory for all of us.
Particularly LeBron James, as you see Dwayne Wade's numbers against the Celtics in the semifinals in the East. Boston has won 8 of the last 9 regular season games against Miami. Last season, they won 3 of 4. However, in the second round of the playoffs, as you just saw, the Heat over the Celtics did it in 5 off the steal. Chalmers putting it up. Bosch open for 3. Yes! He's been working on that shot. And Eric Spoelstra would like to see Bosch take more from three-point range.
Yes, he asked him in the offseason, do a couple things. One, learn to play in the post as a 5-man. The other thing, extend your range. If you're going to be a 5-man and shoot behind the three-point line, it's tough to guard. The drag by Bosch, the swing pass, there's the 3. Just what the coach ordered.
Sizzling start for Miami. They've hit 7 of their first 8 shots.
With Chris Bosch leading the way, Miami out to an 18-11 start. Now with the Heat running more this year, and Dwayne Wade and LeBron James spending more time on the block, Bosch had just 4 points on Sunday. After the game, he said his role on the offense was to be a trailer, which was not too pleasing to the ears of Eric Spoelstra. He said that is not the way the offense is intended. The block belongs to whoever gets there first. Instead of trailing, I need you to be leading at times. As again, LeBron almost on a breakaway there. They also talked about about Chris Bosch being more active. At times last year, he was the third option, a distant third option, and he became passive and was not assertive. They need him to be more active, as he has been so far tonight. He also has a personal goal, Marv. He says he has to get at least 10 rebounds every game.
All right, Craig, last season, he averaged 19 points, 8 rebounds. You saw LeBron James on that drive fouled by Marquise Daniels. The question is, was it a breakaway foul?
And you see Danny Crawford and Vic Pavetta taking a look here. Here's the steal. And the key is he has to have possession of the ball in order for it to be ruled a breakaway if he's in the front court. Or excuse me, to be ruled a clear path.
The foul on Marquise Daniels ruled a clear path foul.
So it is ruled clear path.
2 free throws and it will be Heat ball.
Yeah, once possession is gained by the offensive player, if he's grabbed from behind, it is a clear path foul.
So it gets the 2 shots. Miami will also have possession.
You know, they changed this rule a couple of years ago. It used to be 1 free throw, now it's 2. And players have to react to that. They have to adapt. I mean, if you're Marquise Daniels, you got LeBron James ahead of you. Just let him go. I mean,
that's a pretty severe penalty.
It's a huge penalty.
You may not realize it now, but you get down the end of a game, a 1-point game. That's a severe penalty.
Yep.
4-point opportunity possibly here.
Miami now up by 8. They've hit 7 of their first 8 shots, including 2 from downtown, 1 by Chalmers and One by Bosch, and another foul on the Celtics, who are over the foul limit. Again, it's Daniels, Marquise Daniels coming on for Sasha Pavlovich.
And this is another advantage to playing down near the hoop for LeBron and Wade. They're going to get so many fouls called on their defenders that their team will be in the bonus early on in quarters like they are here. They'll be shooting free throws the rest of the way.
And the other day against the Mavericks, LeBron had 19 free throws, 15 of 19 at the line on the way to a 37.10 rebound game.
And the subject in Miami the last couple days has been the fact that LeBron took 20 free throws in the entire final series, 6 games against Dallas last year. So 19 in one game. And I think that's the key for LeBron and any superstar, whether it's Kobe or Jordan or whoever it was. If your jumper's not going, you got to will your way to the line. And I think that's what LeBron has to do under adverse circumstances this year.
Ray Allen attempting a 3. 37 points by LeBron the other day, a Miami franchise record for scoring in a season opener. Wade with a nice move off the dribble. Back comes Rondo.
You got that option, having Wade on the weak side, so when you swing the ball and reverse it, the defense is closing out from the help position, running at Wade.
Rajon Rondo, who was spectacular in the opener for Boston against the Knicks. 31 points, 13 assists, 5 steals. Here comes Wade, right at Allen, and score! Wilcox tried to come over to help, but it was too late. Rondo able to beat the Heat on the penetration. Joel Anthony was back, and a technical is called on Anthony.
I think it may have been Rondo. Mark, let's see what Orlando's pool comes up with. Yeah, I think he wanted a foul on that drive to the hoop, and when he didn't get it, he yelled something at the official. This is what we saw the other day in New York, just this one-man fast break. I think he wanted the foul on Bosch because he kind of pulled his arm on the way in, and you see he jaws to the official, and that'll get called every time.
Chalmers able to hit the technical. The other day, Boston called for 3 technical fouls, but Doc Rivers very upset by the 2 in the 4th quarter. He said, we don't get tees called in the 4th quarter. Oh, nice move off glass by Wade.
And neither one of those technicals was justified, by the way. We got a chance to see the replays, and foul there on Bosch. But that was a tough way to go for Boston to try to finish that game in New York. Meanwhile, here's Wade clearing aside, and once he gets ahead of steam going to the hoop, he is impossible to stop.
Only the 2nd team foul on Miami. Boston over the limit. Keon Dooling checking in for the Celtics. Rondo and Dooling now in the backcourt. Nice stroke by Keon Dooling.
I think that's how you have to beat Miami. I mean, this is what Dallas did in the finals last year. Spread them out, penetrate and kick, and keep that ball moving. You got to make 3-pointers to beat them, but easier said than done.
And Carlisle moving Barea into the lineup, starting lineup, gave him more penetration, and penetration with the ability to score. Not just a guy that could penetrate but couldn't finish. He could score the ball.
Miami turning it over on that inbounds pass. Miscommunication there, and the ball back to the Celtics.
I guess the problem for Boston tonight, with that in mind, trying to space the floor and shoot threes. This is not a 3-point shooting team. They were 2 for 5 the other day in New York. That's the fewest number of threes that I can remember a team taking in today's NBA in a long time.
Oh, Rondo rejected by Anthony. Bosch's pass was off. Here comes Rondo, chased by Bosch.
Rondo.
6 points for Rondo, and the Celtics within 6. Eric Spoelstra calls for time. Miami is led by as many as 11. Little push here by Boston with 4:18 left in the first.
mistakes, the only reason they got this lead, you knew they were going to come out hard, all right? Even with that, it's more our mistakes that are getting them this lead, all right? We want to attack right here.
One of the big pluses for Doc Rivers, he has such a great feel for his team. He trusts and believes in them. They trust and believe in him. He knows it's a long game. It's early on. He remembers what happened in New York in game #1, where his team played poorly early on, but then came back right in the second half. Once again, calm, relaxed early on.
Udonis Haslem and Shane Battier have checked in for Miami. There's a trap on James. Good job by the Celtics as they steal it.
Something that Miami has worked on, double teaming down in the low post area. They did not handle real well the first time they saw it.
Gouling's pass broken up by Battier. Here comes Chalmers, 3-on-2. James with the stuff will not count. Offensive foul. Chalmers called on the offensive foul.
Boy, what a play from Rondo, taking the contact right there. Good call from the officials. He's well outside the arc. He's in good position. He's waiting for him, negating that spectacular dunk from LeBron.
4 consecutive turnovers by the Heat. Just under 4 remaining here in the first quarter. Marquise Daniels, yes.
Daniels has a handle that, to me, it looks like it's going to get stolen every time he puts it down, but somehow he protects it well enough to get to where he wants to get to on the floor.
Daniels defending on James.
It's a bad shot there.
And that goes back to the finals last year. That's what they wound up settling for, those kinds of shots.
Yeah.
Chalmers with the steal and then able to deflect it, or try to deflect it off Rondo.
Looked like it hit Rondo, and then it hit Chalmers.
It hit Chalmers out of bounds, so it's out of bounds off Chalmers.
Number 30, Norris Cole.
Watch.
And a hand by the home crowd for the rookie from Cleveland State, first-round draft pick Norris Cole, who had an impressive debut the other day against Dallas and looked solid during the course of training camp.
Well, the Heat obviously feels very strongly about this young guy. They cut Eddie House. They let Mike Bibby go. I mean, they're really serious about getting more athletic and younger at that position. And Cole, really wise beyond his years, played 4 years at Cleveland State and really played well in Dallas the other day, opening day.
Pass, strong move, not able to hit. Good job by Wilcox to keep it alive. Avery Bradley has also come on now for the Celtics. They have a 3-guard set. Here's Daniels, scoops it home, and the foul.
That was impressive. That was a great move. Looked like Miami was in a little bit of a zone, kind of a matchup zone. And Daniels found the opening and a little left-handed scoop. Nice.
Marquise Daniels to the free throw line looking for a 3-point play. Shadow run here by Boston.
Shaq sending a little message out to everyone.
Shaq gonna send a tweet? Is that what we're hearing?
Celtics foul, 0, Avery Bradley. His first penalty.
So the foul is on Bradley. Celtics have been over the limit for a good portion of this first quarter. Shane Battier played only 4 minutes the other day as he tries to work his way back from the quad injury.
For the Heat, number 5, Juwan Howard in the game.
An excellent pickup
He replaces
by Miami, signed as a
Anthony.
free agent after 5 years with Memphis.
I think it was a great pickup, picking up Battier, because not only is he a guy who can defend, who can knock down shots, but he can deflect so much of the attention. He's so good with the media, and he's so good in the locker room, just keeping an even keel. I thought that experience helped Memphis tremendously in the playoffs last year, and I think it can help Miami big time this year.
He makes threes. He defends whoever you want him to defend. Ben, in practice every day, he's the leader, the spiritual leader of the team. Perfect for this team.
Eric Spoelstra said nobody's ever focused and concentrated like him. Great pass from James and a breakdown defensively for Boston. But so much of this game is focus and attention to detail. And as we saw right there on that possession for Boston, if one person's not in line with everybody else, you have a total breakdown.
Daniels had the step and then lost it. James played by Dooling with help. And here is Cole for three. Rebounded by Daniels. Marquise Daniels has played well here in the first quarter. Dooling with a pull-up three. And now the ruling by Alandis Poeltl right on the scene. He says no two-pointer, foot on the line. Miami up 29-27.
Look at this lineup for Boston. Extremely small, very quick, but very little rim protection. Although right there, Bass comes up with a block.
And Doc Rivers likes what he sees. Okay, Wilcox, Bass out there, both players. Bass is surprised offensively how consistent he's been. Wilcox on the glass boards, and defensively he will get much better.
Here is Dooling. Miami looking to push it. Celtics get back. Cole saw the opening, and he was fouled. So the rookie Norris Cole will go to the line. Bass call for his second as we take a look at the upcoming national TV schedule. Tomorrow on NBA TV, it's Oklahoma City at Memphis, followed by the Knicks and the Warriors at Golden State. You can go to NBA.com/Fan Night to vote for the Fan Night game on Tuesday, January 3rd, and then on ESPN, January the 6th, it'll be Chicago at Orlando and Portland at Phoenix.
Mark, I want to go back to what Steve said about Norris Cole and how much they like him. And a small, subtle little thing you said, Steve, he's a 4-year player. That means there's a guy who got maybe 140 games under his belt of coaching, competing, stayed all 4 years, got his degree, then comes into the NBA.
It wasn't a subtle point. That was my main point that I was trying to say about it.
You mistake subtleness for being emphatic. I thought Steve really got it out there.
Didn't you?
Yeah. And like yourself, incidentally, Czar, Norris Cole was a member of the National Honor Society in college. I just wanted to point that out. Dooling backing his way and lost it. And now Miami can hold for a final shot of this first quarter.
8 turnovers in this quarter for Boston.
Down to 2. Here's James backing his way and came up short.
At the end of the first quarter, the score.
Miami opened up red hot. They conclude 10 of 16 from the field. Boston shot well too, 11 of 19, but the Celtics end the quarter on a 12-4 run, so they're within 3 after 1. Back in Miami, the NBA on TNT Premier Week being presented by AutoTrader.com. Moments ago, Craig Sager talked with Celtic head coach Doc Rivers.
Well, Doc, before the game you said the one thing you can't do against Miami is turn the ball over. You had 8 turnovers in the first quarter. What adjustment do you make?
Not turn the ball over. I mean, really, it's not that hard. We're throwing a lot of skip passes. You can't do that against them. I think we'll take care of that.
You don't make excuses with injured players, but with Paul Pierce out, it looks like you went to a smaller lineup. What do you hope that does?
Scoring. You know, right now, the way the game was going, we had to put scoring out on the floor. And we accomplished that. And you're right, the turnovers and the fouls, you know. I just hope we can get some fouls down on our end. That'd be real nice.
All right, we'll pass it on. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Mark.
Craig is so helpful. 7th season as head coach of the Celtics for Doc Rivers. Again, Miami turns it over. Doc taking Boston to the NBA title in 07-08. They won 66 games that season. Remember, there were questions last year as to whether he'd want to continue, but he stayed on by signing a new 5-year contract. Daniels thought he was fouled, and here comes Wade. He has Battier on the wing. LeBron James sitting down, getting a rest. Pass for Haslam broken up, and he was fouled.
There's that breakdown in communication between Garnett and Wilcox. Wilcox, new to the system, doesn't quite understand everything that's going on. He let the guy go down the middle lane, never picked him up. Garnett figured he would take him as the back man. That's where the breakdown took place.
You look at the free throw numbers now. That's number 14 and 15 coming in terms of the free throw attempts. Just 3 for Boston at this point. So the aggressiveness of the Heat attack really taking its toll.
Foul was called on Ray Allen. Udonis Haslem, who last year came back in the playoffs after missing 69 games with a torn ligament in his left foot. He was actually playing on one foot, and he has looked in terrific shape. Daniels rejected by Wade. There is Cole with the run-on.
No hesitation. Aggressive. You talked about it. Attack the basket. No hesitation at all. He almost lost the dribble, came right back to the rim again.
Well, if you think about it, they haven't had that type of speed at the point guard position for many years here.
Another turnover, this time by Boston, and Miami gives it right back.
Didn't Doc Rivers say we have to stop turning the ball over? Easier said than done. How about this? You get there, you think you've got a clean look at the rim, and all of a sudden Dwayne Wade springs up from behind you and rejects it.
Celtics 9 turnovers. The Heat with 8. Sasha Pavlovich is back. Celtics have a backcourt of Rondo and Allen. Garnett is up front with Wilcox and Pavlovich. Minute and a half in, second quarter. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, the Czar, Mike Fratello, Craig Sager in Miami as Rondo is hit, and he will shoot a pair.
Heat foul number 30, Norris Cole.
Foul is on Cole.
First. Teams first.
Something for the kids. You can visit NBAHoopTroop.com to play. It says here, cool games. Watch exciting videos and earn points and get information on all your favorite NBA teams and players. That's NBAHoopTroop.com.
Now, I was looking at Boston's bench, thinking about the loss of West, okay, when they had done that trade, it was almost done. They wind up losing West.
David West, yeah.
And now you have Jeff Green who goes down.
Not Delonte, just pointing that out.
He's not clear in his thoughts sometimes.
My
They
thought
didn't
was
lose him,
very
they
clear.
never had him.
Well, but they almost had him.
Almost had him, but you don't
So
lose somebody you
him,
didn't have.
then Green now is out for the whole season because he's going to have this serious surgery.
Oh, Wade with the spin and the bucket. And your point is,
now you look at the bench and you realize, you know, they don't have a bad second unit. When Dooling is out there, Michael Petrus should be back in about 10 days. Daniels, Wilcox, Bass, not bad at all.
Doc Rivers very happy with his bench. He was telling us the other day what a difference from a year ago. And Paul Pierce used the word immature in terms of the bench last season.
Said this is a much more professional group coming off the bench. I think the only question mark is on a nightly basis, can they get enough scoring from that group? I think they're going to find some moments from Daniels and Dooling and Wilcox, but Bass maybe is their best hope for a consistent score. But can you imagine if they had David West, bringing a guy like that off the bench, you can run your offense through him every trip down the floor.
Inbounds pass picked off, and here's Rondo with Wade racing back. Rondo, well, it's not that he heard footsteps. He saw Dwayne Wade and try to change his shot. Wade right back. Rebounded by Bass. A terrific end-to-end action we're seeing here in this first half. Bass gets it ahead to Rondo. Pavlovich called for steps.
And there's another guy that'll be with that second unit. Pavlovich, once he gets out of that starting lineup, will wind up with the second unit. He sees Wade. He looked over his left shoulder, and instead of going up strong, anticipated that Wade was going to go after the block. He changed his shot, got nothing but air.
Wade falling down, but got it to Cole in the corner. Norris Cole played 23 minutes against the Mavericks in his NBA debut on Sunday. Came up with 7 points, 3 assists. Doc Rivers takes a timeout. 3 minutes gone by in the second, and Miami with a 29 lead, an 8-2 run by the Heat to start things here in the second quarter.
I think last year, definitely has set us up, for this year in a good way. I mean, we went through everything last year, and there's nothing that can surprise us, going through what we went through last year. So right now it's strictly about basketball, getting better every day, and, just playing the game that we love.
And you get the idea that LeBron wishes he could get a do-over, and how he handled his departure from Cleveland, and how he handled that introduction as a member of the Heat with the declaration of many championships to come. Still, Miami did win 58 games as foul is called. That'll put Rondo at the line, and he admits that he had a difficult time dealing with the mental stress of last year that he realizes he created himself. Still, Miami won the 58 games, third best record in the NBA, but when it comes down to it, guys, LeBron's season this year will be judged on his performance in the postseason, particularly getting to the finals and with different results.
Yeah, I mean, that's the world that he lives in. But I do feel like he's taken a much more modest approach, as has the entire organization. And I think it's all set up for this team to just steamroll everybody in the league. When you really look at it, I mean, their main contenders for the title, Dallas, the Lakers, Boston, they all got worse. Miami is better. Wade gets fouled. Chicago maybe is their main competition in the East. You could see a young team like Oklahoma City, on the rise. But it sure seems like this season, because of the motivation of losing in the finals, because of the experience of last year, learning from their mistakes and improving in the continuity of what they have from last year to this year, it seems like they're going to run away with this thing.
I looked at their schedule. I see them getting out very easily to a 10-0 start to the season. Then they encounter the Clippers on the road, Denver on the road, back-to-back, and then San Antonio. That could be the first time they get a loss, in my opinion.
Yeah, easily 10-0.
I think 10-0 when you look at their schedule.
You look at that from last year. And some of these games were really early. 2 of the games were against Boston, first week of the season. But that was the big question with them. They were 2-8 in games decided by 3 points or less. And I think it'll be interesting to see how they handle adversity this year. They were a great front-running team a year ago, but when adversity hit, they did not respond well. So that'll be the first test. How do they respond to injury, to maybe a little bit of a losing streak? But I just think they're so equipped to handle whatever comes their way.
Miami extending to a 10-point advantage. Shot clock running down, and a 3-second violation is called.
3 seconds.
So the ball back to the Heat.
Well, when Miami comes after you, it is tough to get away from them. And that time, Udonis Haslem, just on his own, aggressively went and double-teamed the basketball. And Rondo's looking around going, what do I do? He threw one of those cross-court passes that you don't want to throw against Miami's defense.
And LeBron's not even on the floor, and they still look fast out there as Haslem misses the jumper. But Doc Rivers told us before the game, he said it's the fastest defense that he's ever seen in the NBA.
No. I thought I remember him saying almost as fast as your Chicago Bulls team.
When
you were on the floor.
On the floor,
right.
or maybe off the floor.
Yeah, that might have been what he said.
I thought he said it was as fast, if not faster, than those Bulls teams. Regardless, it was high praise, and they do cover a ton of ground.
Said it's amazing how quickly they close as Pavlovich,
like right there,
up short.
Yeah, that extension from Wade. You think you have a jumper, and Cole's going to get called for the travel, but you think you have an open look, and all of a sudden Wade, LeBron, Bosh, even guys like James Jones, Haslem, they just fly out at you. Look at Pavlovich thinking, okay, I got a little turnaround.
What I recall when I think about those Chicago Bulls teams as Garnett was able to knock it down.
Kevin Garnett.
When Jordan and Pippen were on the floor and they wanted to trap, play defense, it was impossible.
Yeah.
It was just impossible.
Well, and then you added Dennis Rodman to the mix, and then Ron Harper, and you had 4 guys who were basically interchangeable. They could switch everything, and they all had long arms, and it really is very similar in terms of just the intensity of the speed and the pressure defensively with this club.
Barnett throwing a bullet down low. Here is Allen for three.
Tough shot.
And he preserved that possession. The shot clock was down to 2. Foul is drawn by Wade. Nice fake against Pavlovich, who picks it up.
Okay, how long has Pavlovich been in the league? How many times has he guarded Dwayne Wade?
First time Wade has ever done
I mean,
that
come
fake.
on. He does that every time. If he makes that jump shot, you slap him on the butt and say, nice job. You can't jump at that.
At the line, Dwayne Wade.
2 shots for Wade. Here's a programming reminder. You can ring in the new year when the Leverage crew takes a new team leader with disastrous results. Don't miss an all-new Leverage Sunday night at 9, 8 Central on TNT. Talking with Eric Spoelstra prior to the game. Made an interesting point with the lockout delaying the start of the season. It may have been a good thing, he said, for all of us to be away from each other for a longer time following the finals. Steve, similar to our production crews and their feelings about the czar, it's just that long layoff kind of cleared things up. People were actually happy to see it today.
You sense that might be coming, that comment, Mike?
I had a feeling it was coming, yeah. You were laughing when he said the first word out of his mouth.
Here's Daniels. Bosch with the rebound. James Jones, who just checked in, knocks down a 3. He hit 3 the other day against Dallas. Among the leaders in three-point shooting last season.
I just love this pace, and I know Miami has made some mistakes. They've got 10 turnovers. They're not quite used to playing this style, but I love it. They block the shot of Allen at the rim. Daniels can't come up with it, but they are playing so fast.
Bosch gets inside and stuffs. And it started with the rejection. 14-point lead for Rondo with a scoop. And he's headed to the line.
Remember, we're watching this take place with Bosch as the 5-man on the floor right now. These are some of those minutes that Spoelstra said he would give him in the 5 position. First, the block shot by Wade, and now, where's your 5-man? Down at the other end of the floor, waiting for the pitch-ahead pass to finish it off.
Well, think about it this way. Last year, Miami was 29th in the NBA in field goal attempts. And I know that's a little skewed because they shot a lot of free throws, and they made a lot of their shots too, so they didn't get a lot of offensive rebounds. But with all this talent, there's no way you can be a low possession team. And I think Eric Spoelstra has kind of figured that out. I think the team is evolving. The more possessions you play with Wade and LeBron and Bosch, the more pressure you're putting on the opponent in over 48 minutes. It's going to play itself out.
The free throw by Rondo stops a 7-0 run by Miami. LeBron James sitting out this second quarter. Eric Spoelstra, nice feed for Joel Anthony. Eric Spoelstra certainly can afford to rest LeBron. He now has a 15-point lead. O'Neal is back for the Celtics. Allen and Rondo in the backcourt. Defensive 3-second violation called on Miami.
Defensive 3-second
Leading to
violation
a
called on the Heat. Technical
timeout.
Timeout. And Heat
Coming up on 5.5 remaining in this first half. And the Heat on fire.
Welcome back to Miami. Heat with a 15-point lead, and with all this talk about Miami's improved offense, this is still a defensive team at heart, and they're going to generate that pace and that offense through their defense. They already have 9 steals, 4 blocks, and many transition hoops coming off of these great defensive plays. This team is so quick, and they got quicker because of the addition of Norris Cole. They are a devastating force.
Ray Allen will shoot the technical off the defensive 3-second call against Miami before the timeout.
For the Heat, LeBron James back in the game.
James makes his return. Sitting out the start of this second quarter. LeBron with 7 points and has contributed to the Sensational defensive play by Miami, and Ray Allen knocks down his second three of the night.
Doc Rivers in the timeout draws up a play. You saw them all get into their spots. They started at the moment they were supposed to. Give Ray Allen just a couple inches to get a look at the rim, and that's what happens.
It's a 4-point possession for Ray Allen. Nearly came up with a steal. Anthony able to recapture. Jones is open. A long three. Yes!
That was a critical switch there. If Allen can convert that pass to Rondo, who is all alone, then it's down to 51-42. So 5-point swing with that three.
Dangerous pass handled though by Daniels. His jump hook was deflected short. It's been a long run for the rookie Cole, who's played well. James not guarded by Daniels. They isolate LeBron, and Marquise Daniels called for the foul.
Foul number 4, Marquise Daniels.
Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Marv, you mentioned Eric Spoelstra said there's benefits from being away from each other this summer. The biggest attitude adjustment comes from LeBron James. He said last year he tried to prove everybody wrong. I didn't care who it was. I was blinded. I was out of whack. I forgot who I was. Who is he this year? He says, I'm just the guy who loves to play basketball. I'm that kid again.
All right, here is Bosch, and he comes up short. And we're coming up on 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Celtics turn it over for the 14th time.
That's what that speed does. I mean, it just makes you do things you don't really want to do, makes you move a little quicker. You're anticipating things rather than just playing on field. And Boston really out of whack.
Jones for three. Oh, he is red hot. That's his third from three-point territory.
One maturity about the kid Cole. He had that shot, but he knew that Jones had just hit one prior to that in transition. He swung it, one more pass, and that all came from the post play of LeBron James.
Allen for three, yes.
Oh, man.
Allen, three-pointer.
He hits the toughest corner threes. He just seems like he's so comfortable from that spot, but half of these look like he's off balance, but he is just so pure.
Ray Allen with his third three of this second quarter. Tough move by James and a foul. LeBron spinning baseline. There's been so much talk regarding LeBron going to the postgame. We saw it right there.
And here's that three from Allen. He just hit a similar one from the opposite corner on the couple possessions before, but Boston, that's a huge part of their offense. They run him off picks, they set veer picks, baseline picks, because they know all he needs is a sliver. He can get that shot off.
Marquise Daniels called for the foul, and that is 4 on Daniels, who is replaced by Keon Dooling. Kevin Garnett also comes on, replacing Brandon Bass. Chris Bosch sitting down. So Anthony up front with Haslam. With James and Jones and Cole at the guard.
With this lineup, LeBron is going to have either Dooling or Ray Allen on him. So I would look for Miami to go right back down to the post when they get the ball back.
Dooling for three. The Celtics catching fire from three-point range. 6 of 8 overall. 3 of the 6 by Ray Allen.
I was wrong. Boston put Rondo on LeBron James, and his quickness allowed him to deny him that post feed.
Haslam forced it up. Rondo with the rebound. Allen for three. Yes.
Ray Allen, three-pointer.
Ray Allen, the NBA's all-time leading three-point shooter, putting on a show in the second quarter.
17 for Ray Allen, and that play developed so beautifully. You knew Rondo was going to be looking for Ray Allen the entire way, but he waited till just the right moment, hits him in rhythm. Allen knocks it down, and Boston has cut the deficit to 10.
Miami wants to play out of the post area using LeBron James as their post-up man. He looks over his inside shoulder to see where the defense is coming from. That means his perimeter people must space up accordingly to give him outlet passes. Once James takes the dribble into the middle of the floor, first he'll look opposite. Norris Cole is there. Norris Cole in turn looks to the top of the circle. James Jones, that's how you get a wide open three. Penetrate, read the defense, kick out opposite, you keep your spacing. That lets you swing it one more pass. When you got a shooter like Jones, it makes it look pretty.
And both teams shooting very well. Miami 19 of 30 from the field, 63%. Celtics 17 of 33, 52%. And both Miami and Boston hitting the three-pointers. Ray Allen, as you mentioned, Steve, 17 points. 13 have come in this second quarter, and he's done it with the three-point shot. As James tries to back down a defensive 3-second violation called on the Celtics.
Technical foul.
Well, Dwayne Wade comes back into the game. I was surprised by that possession right there coming out of the timeout. We talked all about the movement and the back picking and cutting, and they went right back to that ISO game, and Boston just kind of bailed them out with that 3-second defensive call.
Chalmers, an 87% free throw shooter last season, way off on that attempt. 10-point lead for the Heat. They've led by as many as 17 in a high turnover game. Unusual that both teams have been so prolific from beyond the three-point line. And James, beautiful turnaround by LeBron James. He has 11 points.
Not a whole lot you can do about that. He was totally under control that time. Knew he had a smaller player than Ray Allen, who had switched onto him. He just backed him down to the spot and shot over him.
Shot clock down to 4. Picked off by Chalmers. Here's the alley-oop. Wade, and it's tipped home by LeBron James, trailing the play after the pass. Garnett. Here comes Miami. Wade. James. Yes. And in very short time, it is now a 16-point lead. Nice pass, Garnett. Able to take advantage of Haslam, who took his eye off the ball. Wade right back and draws the foul.
There's constant pressure, and we didn't see this last year. I mean, this is a totally different approach from this Miami team, and it's devastating. I mean, this Boston's one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They're giving up 65 here in the first half.
Foul committed by Dooling. Wade to the line. We'll check in with Ernie back in our Atlanta studios.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. Kevin Love had a 17-point first quarter, 13 of those at the free throw line for Minnesota, but it's Milwaukee with the first quarter lead as Beno Udrih connects to break the 30-30 tie. It's still a 2-point game as they play in the second period. Coming up just moments from now here in Studio J, it's the Sprint Halftime Report. I'll be joined by Charles, Kenny, and Shaq, who will break down the first 24 minutes in Miami, and later tonight, the Jazz play their season opener in L.A. against Kobe and the 0-2 Lakers. Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller will have the call. Now back to Miami. Marv and Steve and Mike.
All right, thank you, Ernie. How about the Lakers? As Ernie mentioned, 0-2 start. If they go 0-3, it would be the first time in 33 years that they start the season losing their first 3 games.
Well, so much to overcome. The Odom loss, new coach, you know, the Bynum suspension. Here's that play. LeBron throws the lob and then follows it. How often do you see that? A guy who throws the lob and then gets the offensive rebound on the same play.
Throws the lob for the 28-foot marker, and then follows it on the rim, tipping in.
But yeah, the Lakers, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think the one thing they can kind of fall back on is, okay, you know, we don't have our full complement of players with Bynum's suspension, but it sure looks like they're on shaky ground right now. I mean, and any situation in the league this year where you have a new coach, that team is at a disadvantage because of the circumstances. I mean, a week of training camp at the most, a couple of exhibition games, and bam, you're right into it. That's tough.
When you have egos and attitudes that you have to worry about, and a bunch of them, There's a concern.
Well, we know all about that in
yes,
the booth.
we do. Yes,
Marv.
good point, Steve.
I'm not sure I understand that.
We had just a pure telecast on Sunday with the Knicks. And
It was clean. Very clean.
I thought you guys did a great job, actually.
We've had issues here tonight.
Well, a lot of egos, or at least one.
Final minute, first half. And another defensive three is called. Second on Miami. Celtics had one just a moment ago, so technical foul. This time one of the best free throw shooters in the league, Ray Allen. To the line. 88% from the free throw line last season. Miami with the resounding win in Dallas Sunday afternoon after the Mavericks raised that championship banner. Boston coming off a tough loss to the Knicks at Madison Square Garden on Christmas Day. Rondo with the hesitation dribble, and a foul will put Rondo at the line. Foul is on James. That's his first.
Team foul.
That's Boston's best attack. You know, get the ball moving, space the floor, penetrate and kick until you can find an open shooter. And even then, it's difficult. Miami just flying to the ball.
Rajon Rondo last year averaged a career high 11 assists, second of the NBA to Steve Nash of the Phoenix Suns, who just did edge him out. Rondo struggling at the line, just 4 of 7. Has 5 assists in this first half.
But Doc Rivers loves the fact that he's attacking and getting to the line. Eight attempts already. I think he had 12 the other day in New York, so that's a great sign for Boston.
Timeout taken by the Heat.
Call a 20-second timeout.
We're down to 27 seconds left. First half. Miami by 14. Back at American Airlines Arena in Miami. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, the czar Mike Fratello, Craig Sager. Miami showing that high energy, showing the speed, coming out by hitting 7 of their first 8 shots. They've led by as many as 17. They have a 14-point lead. And the only reason that it's down to 14 is because of the shooting of Ray Allen, who has 18 points for Boston, 14 coming here in the second.
Yeah, Miami shooting 65%, and they've forced 15 turnovers. So incredible how they can convert that defense into easy points.
Shot clock is down to 5. Nice pass from James to set it up for Boston.
Nice play from the timeout drawn up by the coach.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Boston will hold for a final shot of this first half. Down to 2. Can they get it off? And a foul is called with 3/10 of a second remaining. And that puts Miami over the limit.
15, Mario Chalmers.
It's on Chalmers.
Second.
A little bit of a head fake, ball fake. Right there. Inside the line. Good call by Dick Bavetta. It's only 2, not 3 free throw attempts. Doc Rivers petitioning over there for 3 free throw attempts.
They're gonna take a look, which they're allowed to do, but that was clearly a 2. But like I got on Pavlovich earlier for jumping at the Wade pump fake. Mario Chalmers has been around for almost 4 years now. When Rajon Rondo pump fakes from 25 feet away, you don't jump. Stay down, make him make that shot.
Here comes the double high pick and roll, and then Ray Allen steps back in case you want the throwback. Watch Rondo's right foot. He almost went out of bounds there. And then up in the air, there's the foul.
But he was clearly over that line.
This is an easy one for the officials. Easy.
Stands a 2-shot foul.
So 2 free throws for Rajon Rondo. Numbers 9 and 10 for Rondo.
Steve, I'm looking at the scoreboard, remembering what you said. This is a proud Celtic defense, and there are 69 points at halftime on the board for Miami.
Unbelievable. You know, I think what happens when you play that fast, like Miami does, all your defensive principles, if you're Boston, they kind of go out the window because you're jumbled. You can't ever get there. That's right.
At 3/10 of a second, there is time for a catch and shoot. But that will do it. That's the end of the first half.
The score, your
Miami outscores Boston 39-27. 39 points for the Heat in the second quarter to take the 15-point lead. After a quick break, we'll send it to our studio for the Sprint halftime report with Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Miami for the Heat and the Celtics. Game 2 of the condensed 66-game schedule. 15-point lead for Miami at the half. A very impressive first half for the Miami Heat. Harv Albert, Steve Kerr, the czar, Mike Fratello, and over the first half, 3 Miami players in double figures, including LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
Goes back to the orders from the chief, their head coach. Be aggressive and attack. These two players certainly have the ability to get to the rim because they have a handle to put it on the floor and great athleticism. They've combined for 30 points in the first half. They've gotten to the free throw line 14 times and have made 12 out of their 14 free throw attempts.
And for the Boston Celtics, who were in the process of being blown out, down by as many as 17, although they have pretty good distance to go here as we start the third quarter. But it was Ray Allen who kept them in it for part of that second quarter.
Well, he made 4 out of 5 threes. In fact, Boston made 7 of 9 as a team. Many of them very difficult shots from Allen, but he was really on fire. But how do you stay in this game if you're Boston? I mean, look at the numbers. They scored 54 points. They made 7 of 9 threes. They have 15 free throw attempts, and yet they're down 15. And why? Well, look at the turnovers right there. 15 of them for the Celtics.
Points off turnovers. Miami with 23. You see the disparity in terms of points in the paint. Miami 25 of 35 from the floor, and it's been more than the big three of James and Wade and Bosch. 17 of the points scored by Miami in the second quarter came from their bench. Now let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Boston's bench depleted. Chris Wilcox suffered a shoulder injury. He had x-rays at halftime. The x-rays were negative, but he's out with a sprained left shoulder. And remember in our meetings with the coaches earlier tonight when Doc Rivers said, as a basketball fan, he loves watching LeBron James run the floor and play in the post. I asked him how he loved it tonight. He goes, I think I'm having a nightmare.
Yes, we can understand that. LeBron in the first half, 5 of 7 from the field, 5 of 6 from the line for 15. Dwayne Wade 4 for 7 from the field and 7 of 8 from the free throw line for 15 points. Bosch stripped, kept alive though by the Heat. His Chalmers to the lane. Will not count. Offensive foul.
Chalmers had the wide open 3 from LeBron, who made the extra pass. Probably should have just pulled up and shot. Instead, he drives down the lane, and good position from Jermaine O'Neal right there drawing the charge.
Third foul committed by Chalmers, so the ball back to the Celtics.
Steve, isn't that the perfect time to take one dribble inside the defense and then pull up for that 16, 17-footer?
Boston back to their starting lineup. Rondo is blocked by Bosch, kept alive by Garnett, and he loses. Chalmers took it out of his hand. Here's Chalmers with the lead, but overthrown, intended for Wade.
Wade wanted the bounce pass earlier in the possession. I think he had a lay-in. Chalmers trying for the spectacular lob.
Celtics with their starting lineup, which includes Sasha Pavlovich playing for Paul Pierce, who also set out the opener against the Knicks with that bruised right heel. Garnett not able to connect on the reverse. just underway, third quarter. Garnett picked it off. Chalmers having a very tough opening couple of minutes, and Miami gets back to come up with another block shot.
3 possessions for Miami, 3 turnovers for Chalmers. So, I mean, he's the point guard. He's got to get things under control here, and it starts with him.
Mario Chalmers, who was able to breathe a sigh of relief when Chauncey Billups was out there, and it was talk that the Celtics were interested in him, but he ends up with the Clippers. Nice move by Allen. But the rookie, who we saw in the first half play very well once again, Norris Cole, first-round draft pick out of Cleveland State, has played well at the point. Chalmers lost it again. And here's Rondo taking advantage.
What a nightmare. 4 turnovers in 1 minute and 40 seconds for one player.
You can hear the crowd talking amongst themselves. The subject is Mario Chalmers. Anthony lost it. O'Neal dives for it. Loose ball foul, and it's on Joel Anthony of the Heat.
Celtics obviously heard it at halftime from their head coach about the lack of defense in the first half. We've seen them very aggressive now, getting on top of players in the post-up area, denying passes back to the top. As a result, they've got a little run going here.
Miami with 5 turnovers over the first 2 minutes of this third quarter.
Well, we've talked so much about the pace with which they're playing, and there's going to be some growing pains. Remember, this is a franchise that is not used to playing this style under Pat Riley or Eric Spoelstra, as Allen lines up the 3 and misses. But when you think about it, the culture here for 15 years has been grinded out. You know, whether it's Alonzo Mourning or, you know, Tim Hardaway, Dan Marley, that gang, or the teams from the last few years. I mean, they don't normally play this way, so it's still going to take some time.
James draws the foul, and he will head to the line. Foul on Pavlovich. That's his 4th. There is Tim Hardaway.
And there's Zoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were like wrestling matches when you played against those teams. I mean, they were just physical and strong, and the games were usually in the 80s. But this is a brand new style for this franchise.
How about those Knick Miami games, particularly in the postseason? LeBron James 6 for 7 at the line.
Steve, I want to go back to you're talking about the style of play and what a big change it is. It's great to play the way Miami's trying to play. It's tough to sustain it over 48 minutes. You tend to play that way for a half, then when you get in the second half, around that end of the third quarter mark, you go back to your old style.
Kevin Garnett going glass. So the Heat now leads by 11. Bosch gets inside.
Well, I think, Mike, I think you're right. It's tough to sustain it, but I think the point when you're Miami, when you have more athleticism and skill than every team in the league, if you can play that style over the course of 48 minutes, that talent is just going to win out. You're going to make more mistakes, but I think you're going to make a lot more positive plays as well.
What a move by Pavlovich off the ball fake, taking to the rim. Allen defending on James. Wade goes behind the back, has to pull it back. Here's Wade. What a second effort by Dwayne Wade.
Jermaine O'Neal has to make that rotation sooner. He saw Wade had put the ball on the floor. He went by Pavlovich. You're counting on your big man back there to protect the rim.
They double up on Rondo. Shot clock to 5. Rondo over Chalmers for 3.
This is the new Rajon Rondo. We saw him knock down several perimeter shots in New York Christmas Day. When he's shooting the ball with confidence, there's not too many better point guards in the NBA.
What a beautiful pass from James.
Talk about point guards. There's your point guard right there. Yeah. Fired that one, and that was a great dive to the open area in the middle of the lane, away from the basketball.
Garnett off. James with the rebound. And the call is away from the ball.
Celtics foul.
Foul on Rondo, that's his first.
When you're 6'8" and you're looking over the entire floor and you have the strength of LeBron James, look at that pass exactly between the two green jerseys to Bosch for the easy score.
Celtics with their second team foul. Wade getting inside on O'Neal. Oh, he put spin on it off glass.
That's unstoppable. I mean, O'Neal came over to help. He's one of the better shot blockers in the league. Goes up and forces that tough shot from Wade, and Wade just makes it look easy.
19 points for Dwayne Wade. Garnett off the fake. Rebounded by Anthony. James. Glass. A tough angle shot by LeBron James. The Celtics will talk it over. Timeout taken. 5 minutes gone by in the third. And Miami now leads by 16.
Here's a tough one by Wade. He goes behind the backboard, comes up on Jermaine O'Neal. Pitch ahead pass. I think I'll call glass on this one. Banks it in off the square.
It has been an extraordinary shooting performance by the Heat, led by Dwayne Wade and LeBron James.
Well, you look at the numbers, remarkably similar, just like on Christmas Day when they both made 11 field goals and had 6 assists against Dallas. And we talked about this earlier in the telecast, but neither one has attempted a three-pointer in a game and a half now, and yet they've been to the foul line a combined 41 times. So totally different approach from the two superstars.
Rondo met by Anthony, had to give it up. So Rondo checking the clock. Try to slip it down low.
Heat foul number 50, Joel Anthony.
And Anthony called for the foul.
You know, what's interesting, without Pierce on the floor, when the clock runs down, who do they look for now to throw the ball back to? Rondo, because he's the only one that can really create something off the dribble. Normally you'd have Pierce out there, get it to him, he'll find a way to get a shot out.
Paul Pierce, who suffered that heel injury during training camp. Another Boston turnover. Here's James on the line. Marquise Daniels was pushed. Miami bench
Foul number 50, Joel Anthony.
up and screaming. He stepped out, stepped on the baseline.
Wade knew exactly where his teammate was going to be, and he knows how fast James is, that he can make up that ground, get ahead of Jermaine O'Neal, and have an easy, clear dunk.
This is the other reason you play fast. These plays are demoralizing for the defense. They also get the crowd energized, and let's face it, it's really fun to watch. So, I mean, if you're a Heat fan, the faster you can play, the more plays like that you get to see. You want to come to the arena.
Joel Anthony on the foul number 4, replaced by Udonis Haslem. Brandon Bass is checked back in for the Celtics. 1 on the shot clock, and Rondo just did get it off. A 3-point attempt. And here comes LeBron. Halfway through this third quarter. James with the pull-up. Yes.
LeBron James!
Well, Mike, if you're Doc Rivers, I mean, it's too early to wave the white flag, but now you start thinking about the condensed lockout schedule. Boston flies to New Orleans tonight after the game. They got to play the Hornets tomorrow night. Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, older players, Jermaine O'Neal. You know, at what point do you say, okay, we got to win tomorrow?
It's going to be very important how coaches handle this condensed schedule as James pulls up and misses that jump shot. And you're going to have selective times where you may have to give a game up just to make sense. And you see the schedules here coming up for Boston after losing at New York, then Miami tonight, then right at New Orleans. First 3 out of 4 on the road for Boston.
3-pointer for Ray Allen. That's his 5th from downtown. He has 23 points. As for Miami tomorrow night, they play in Charlotte Friday night at Minnesota. Very impressive debut last night for Ricky Rubio. And then it's back home for the Bobcats Sunday night on January the 1st. Oh, Bosch gets inside with a scoop.
a little bit of toughness there by Bosch, fighting off Bass's defense, not giving up on the dribble, making it to the rim.
Daniels, so he's hit 2 in a row. Marquise Daniels, 9 points for Daniels. Wade to the fadeaway.
Just the constant pressure offensively. I mean, again, as Rondo gets to the hoop and will draw the foul, but I mean, this is one of the better defensive teams in the NBA, the Celtics, and they look completely disorganized and demoralized.
Miami now shooting 32 of 46, just under 70% for the game. Miami up 89-74. Back in a moment.
Say hello again to
For NBA players, the start of the season not only marks a return to the game they love, but also a return to their communities. Over the last few weeks, NBA players have showed their appreciation for the dedicated support of their fans and helped spread holiday cheer to those in need. Through NBA Cares, Home for the Holidays events, players, coaches, the young and young at heart all shared a sense of community.
Whether we were basketball players or not, it's just being able to put smiles on the faces of these young children. You know, this is what giving back is all about.
Whether they were teaching the skills of the game, giving a high five, a warm meal, a holiday present, or just a hug, the message is clear. It's always nice to be home for the holidays.
Czar, at what point, when we touched on this, we saw Doc Rivers handle the huddle just a moment ago, at what point does Doc say, hey, this one's over, let's look at tomorrow night?
Well, because of the three-point shooting ability of Ray Allen, if they hit a couple quick ones, you can get back in the game and get it down to that 9-point mark, which gives yourself a chance. But you go into that fourth quarter, you've got 7 remaining, and you see how far the score has gone. That's when you may pull them out. It was interesting, walking off the floor, Doc went out and met each player, gave a little pat on the backside, stopped Jermaine O'Neal, gave him a teaching point or two. He's looking ahead to tomorrow night. He can't lose them as a team tonight because it's become demoralizing at times when you keep getting dunked on.
I would think as Battier just checked in, came up with a steal, I would think, though, in the moment, it's got to be so tough because you're so upset about what you're seeing here. Right. What you're seeing your team face in the Miami Heat.
But it's interesting that we're even having this conversation because it's only a 14-point game and it's late third quarter. I mean, there's plenty of time, but again, you get to that big picture philosophy that we're talking about with this condensed schedule. And, you know, if you extend yourself here tonight, you play Garnett and you play Allen big minutes, and you've got a team in New Orleans that's waiting for them as Bass knocks down the jumper. They're resting tonight, coming off a win in Phoenix last night. You know, you can't cost yourself future games. So at some point, you've got to kind of figure all this out, and I don't know if anybody really can.
Cole on the drive was fouled. Daniels looking to steal.
This is where he brings Jermaine O'Neal back out on the floor. Doc trying to talk to him about something that had just taken play in the last possession. Trying to get the big guy's head in the game. Stay with it. We're not that far away. We get a couple baskets, get a couple steals. We're right back there.
Foul on Daniels, number 5, and the rookie Norris Cole with 2 shots. Here's a look at the upcoming national television schedule. Tomorrow on NBA TV, 7:30 start. Oklahoma City at Memphis, followed by the Knicks and the Warriors at Golden State. Go to NBA.com/fan night to vote for the fan night game on Tuesday, January the 3rd. And then on the 6th of January, it's the Bulls and Magic and the Blazers and the Suns. Keon Dooling has come back for Daniels, who just picked up number 5.
Just like Chris Bosh has to play X number of minutes at the 5 spot, Kevin Garnett now slides into the 5 position for Boston.
Allen with that quick release, and he draws the foul. It's on Battier. So Allen to the line, and he'll shoot 2.
It's interesting. Zara, we talked about this the other day in the Christmas Day game. Last year's Boston Celtics team was one of the biggest teams in NBA history. And they had Shaq, they had Kristich, they had Kendrick Perkins, Jermaine O'Neal, Semi Urdan. You look at them this year, and after Jermaine O'Neal, they're one of the smaller teams in the league. And I think one of the reasons is that Doc feels like, and Danny Ainge feels like, the threat now is right here in Miami. And there's last year's starting centers when you look at the numbers. But a year ago, they were worried about the Lakers, who they had just seen in a 7-game series in the finals the year before, and all that length that the Lakers had. They were worried about Dwight Howard. Now all of a sudden, the Lakers no longer pose that threat. Orlando, not nearly the team they were a couple years ago. So the focus has really changed for Boston in terms of who they're trying to defeat.
And they felt, although Jeff Green did not play particularly well when he came over to Boston, but they felt they'd have with Green on the lineup, they'd have a very speedy front line. They could go small. Mattier comes up short. Garnett able to get to it. Jeff Green out for the season, recovering from a heart condition, although he's been traveling with the team. It is rejected from behind by LeBron James. Here's Cole behind the back. Saved by Juwan Howard and deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Battier. It'll be Boston ball.
2 possessions ago when Boston went back on defense, the first time we've seen them go zone the entire time.
Rondo called for the offensive foul.
Watch Boston's defense. They were in a flat-out zone. Doc Rivers came out of the timeout, put a little 3-2 zone in there, and they had Miami thinking a little bit, what are we going to do against this thing? Take away the isolations.
Mike, in the 4 years of Kevin Garnett's era here in Boston, have you ever seen the Celtics play zone?
I can't remember it.
I don't think I have. And here they are again, playing with this small lineup, trying to use that speed and maybe throw Miami off a little bit because they've been in such a groove offensively.
Cole with a deep 3. The box out by Bass, not able to control. It's deflected out of bounds, and Dick Pavetta and Dan Crawford checking with each other. Last touched by Boston.
Tough blow for Doc Rivers. I mean, Bass had position. It looked like Juwan Howard went right over his back. Normally, the team on the inside position will get that call, even if they touched it last, just because they had position. Not the case on that one.
Cole passed on the outside shot. Rebounded by Haslam. Rondo on the run. Coming up on a minute to go in this 3rd quarter. And Boston has cut into that lead. It's down to 11. Miami is led by as many as 20. Good job by Juwan Howard on Brandon Bass. And a foul. It is on Garnett. Making contact with Haslam.
Boston's had a couple of chances here to cut this thing to double figure or under double figures and did not end up with good possessions. That's a bad shot from Bass. Throw the ball back out, get something better as a team.
Exactly. That one, he had no shot and he didn't give it up. Give it up and get it right back again. Cut without the basketball.
Celtics in the midst of a 14-5 run. Able to hang around. James.
Find Allen.
Doolin for 3. Who was it saying that Doc Rivers should sit down some guys? Half minute left. 3rd quarter. Haslam. So after shooting nearly 70%, that'll be Miami ball for most of the game. Miami has had its difficulties here in the 3rd quarter, and a technical foul has been called. It is on Doc Rivers.
Doc felt like that ball should have belonged to Boston. And when the officials signaled that they were going to keep it with Miami, he jumped up, and Danny Crawford didn't hesitate. Teed him up.
James able to hit the free throw.
We see the ball right there, and as it goes out, Bass had the option to reach and grab the ball. He felt it had gone off of White, so he lets it go instead of grabbing it and making sure they had the possession.
Miami has missed its last 8 shots, which has allowed the Celtics to get back into it.
They've got Miami standing around. They've taken away the isolations. They've taken away the post-ups, and as a result, gotten themselves back in this game.
Yeah, the zone has been effective.
Shot clock at 5. Dooling with a good play. Stolen off the pass attempt by James. Dooling with the lead. And a foul. Buzzer sounds ending the third quarter. But the Celtics will head to the line. Miami called for that foul as Bass try to lay it home. It's on James. Let's see if they put any time on the clock.
It seemed like it happened just a split second before the buzzer. I thought Dooling was going to hit Ray Allen, who had a wide open 3, but he does find Bass wide open underneath. And take a look. He's fouled there. It looks like it's maybe 0.2. But the officials will get it worked out, and then Bass will have 2 free throws to cut this to 7. So Doc Rivers' team hanging in there. Remember, they faced that huge deficit in New York on Christmas Day and battled back, only to fall short.
Brandon Bass, who was acquired from Orlando on that deal for Big Baby Davis and Von Wafer.
After the play, the foul occurred.
Well, they put 0.8 of a second on the clock.
Seems like a lot.
I think you're more accurate than the replay actually see.
That's the nicest thing he's ever said about you.
It was genuine, too.
Yeah. This is the first of 4 regular season meetings between the Heat and the Celtics. Last season, Boston took 3 of 4 against Miami. But in the second round of the playoffs, Heat beat the Celtics in 5. Overall, Boston during the regular season has won 8 of the last 9 against the Heat. The Bass gets the treatment from the crowd. The lead is down to 8.
He's a great example, Bass, of a guy who had some deficiencies in his game. One of them was people felt he couldn't shoot the basketball. And he has turned himself into a very good medium-range jump shooter now. Worked at it, up the game.
And that is the end of the third quarter. Celtics end the quarter on an 18-6 run over the last 6 minutes this after trailing by as many as 20. It is now Miami by 8. Welcome back to Miami. The NBA on TNT Premier Week is presented by Autotrader.com. Moments ago, Craig with Miami head coach Eric Spoelstra.
Well, Eric, as far as we know, this is the first time in Doc Rivers' tenure that he's played a zone defense. Did that catch you guys by surprise?
No, we're prepared for it because we expect teams to play zone. Got a couple good looks out of it. We don't have to overreact to it. We have a zone offense, but the turnovers. We had 7 in that quarter, easy plays to be made. Those are lost possessions that we can't give up.
Obviously, they do not have anybody to guard LeBron James, particularly with Paul Pierce out. What is his role in the zone?
Well, we're trying to get him in the middle, on the move. We had that opportunity a couple times, but if we get some stops, okay, we can get down the floor before that zone gets set. Again, they got too much of a rhythm offensively.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, Craig, and fourth quarter opens up. Norris Cole able to hit the jumper to give Miami a 10-point lead. In one stretch, the Heat missed 8 consecutive shots in the third quarter. Dooling came up short. Wade met by Dooling. Bosch played by Bass. Bosch able to slip it to Haslam. Kept alive. They get the new shot clock. Battier for 3. Shane Battier. That is his first field goal as a member of the Miami Heat.
Boston went away from the zone here to start the fourth quarter, and I'm not sure if that was the right decision. They had something going defensively. Bass lines up the 15-footer, knocks it down, but Miami clearly much more comfortable going against that man-to-man.
Shane Battier getting more playing time here this evening. 13 minutes thus far. Oh! Norris Cole with 10 points.
You're liking him a little bit more and more as you see him. The game goes on, and he has extreme confidence, great poise out there. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes as a rookie.
Traveling violation on Rondo.
And you start to go down the floor. Watch Kevin Garnett. He looks to see who it is that was grabbed him. He realizes it's Wade, but he still has something to say to him. And Dwayne Wade has something to say back again. They're still talking to each other.
2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Czar, Mike Fratello, Craig Sager. Wade is hit on a reach-in. Oh no, defensive three is called.
Celtics foul.
I think you're right the first time.
Rez.
And Boston goes back to that zone again.
Doc heard you, Steve. He heard you across the floor, and
I tried.
He called zone out immediately. He put the zone back in.
I try to help. Anything I can do.
Foul is committed by Dooling. Palming violation called on Bosch.
Well, we heard Eric Spoelstra say the zone didn't surprise him. I mean, a lot of teams try to play zone against Miami. In fact, that's one of the reasons Dallas was able to get back into that final series a year ago. They threw some zone out there, and it definitely slows down LeBron and Wade. I mean, it takes away their physical advantage because they have to slow things down and kind of line everybody up as Bosch gets called for the foul. But it's not something that Miami is surprised by any means.
Second foul committed by Bosch. Talking earlier about the upcoming schedule for the Celtics as Marquise Daniels trots over to the scorer's table. He'll come on for Ray Allen. Tomorrow night, Celtics back-to-back. They play at New Orleans. And then their home opener Friday against Detroit, which brings to Boston former Celtic lead assistant Lawrence Frank, now the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. Rondo on a spin, rebounded by Haslam. Here's a 2-on-1. Cole to Bosch, lost the handle as he was fouled.
And that's a bad call. The Boston bench up in arms. Bosch lost the ball before there was any contact. Doc Rivers is furious right now. I think Dick Bavetta really anticipated that call. Watch Bosch. He loses the ball there, and that's no foul. That's a bad call there.
It was the right reaction by the Boston bench. And Dick Bavetta, I thought I actually saw Dick Bavetta on the way over motion towards the Boston bench. That I missed that, but he had called it. He was on his way, so he's putting him on the line for two.
Foul on O'Neal, his third. A programming reminder, a crime happens, a case is closed, but the streets live on. Don't miss the season premiere of Southland, the January 17th only on TNT.
Marv, you just mentioned it, but just like you have change in personnel on your roster, coaching staffs undergo change. And Lawrence Frank was the guy sitting next to Doc Rivers as the assistant coach. Before that, it was Tom Thibodeau, the outstanding head coach of the Chicago Bulls. So now they've got Kevin Eastman there. They've got Mike Longobardi, who's moved in, along with Armand Hill, who's been there for a number of years with Doc.
Bass has to pop it back out. Shot clock running down. Dooling for three. Good box out by Bosch on O'Neal. And Wade was blocked by Dooling. Timeout is called. 3 minutes gone by here in this fourth quarter. Miami is led by as many as 20. They're up by 13. Miami with a 13-point lead over Boston on the first of our TNT doubleheader. Now, the reaction to our Christmas edition of Stevie Wonders hit a new plateau. It is time now for tonight's Stevie Wonders, presented by Blackbird.
Well, Marv, LeBron James last year averaged better than 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. So I was wondering, Czar, who else has accomplished that feat in the NBA? And we're not going to give you much time to think about it. We're just going to get right to it. Oscar Robertson, the big O, did it 6 times. LeBron could tie that record this year. Havlicek, Bird, Michael Jordan. Not a bad list. Incidentally, Marv, are you enjoying your BlackBerry? They sent a batch of them for the entire crew.
I'm told almost the entire.
Well, most of them. Yeah.
I didn't get one. No, I didn't.
That's too bad.
What plateau was that it hit, Marv?
Very high level. Here's Wade. Rebounded by Rondo. Boston able to chip away at the lead as Miami shot 9 for 19, which under normal conditions is pretty good at just under 50%. But at one stretch, they missed 8 consecutive shots. Bass off the double, lost the ball.
They're trying to run offense through Bass, and I'm not sure he's that kind of offensive player. He's a good shooter. He's a good offensive rebounder, but he's not much of a passer. And Boston was so intent on getting him the ball there was no spacing, and it resulted in a turnover.
Foul is called on the Celtics. That's 13 fouls on O'Neal, number 4. Right here, let's send it to Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios. Ernie.
All right, thank you, Marv. Just trying to keep you up to speed on other action around the league tonight. And one of the new faces for the Portland Trailblazers is Jamal Crawford, who will miss but then stick with it and stick it back. Early Portland lead over Sacramento, both of those teams having won their openers. Later tonight, Kobe Bryant and the Lakers trying to avoid an 0-3 start. Last time they did that, it was 1978. They'll be hosting the Utah Jazz at 10:50 Eastern. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ernie. A beautiful move again by the rookie Norris Cole for Miami. Rondo for 3. 98-85. Miami with the lead throughout, shooting close to 70% for much of the night. And now Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen will check back for Boston.
They're going all out. I mean, they're hanging in there. They're not quite within range, but you know, I just feel like Doc is in such a tough spot, as so many coaches will be this year with this schedule, knowing they're going to arrive in New Orleans in the middle of the night and play tomorrow night.
There's Cole for 3. Last touch by Battier of Miami. Cole now with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists in 21 minutes.
And he showed us a little teardrop shot coming down the lane. I've seen him do that in the exhibition games as well, where he makes that shot. He gets inside that dotted line area and floats it up high over the rim.
Nice pass from Garnett. Oh, the block by Wade, turning back, dueling. Garnett off the recovery.
Oh, man, that was unreal.
Lead 187.
Nice move by Wade, able to penetrate.
I think that's the best way to attack a zone. If you've got a guy with great speed and quickness, get the ball up and just attack that crease and put the defense on its heels. And if you don't make the shot, you get an offensive rebound.
Pass from Rondo and the foul.
Nice job of penetrating by Rondo. He took it in the lane, got the big man to step up in the back, then dropped it off on the inside. There's the quick drop off. Good finish that time. No delay, no hesitation. Pass goes up immediately, dunks with 2 hands.
Committed by Cole. Shane Battier hearing it from the crowd as he sits down.
You know, Bass has, in effect, replaced Glenn Davis, who's been here the last few years. And I think it's an upgrade offensively for sure. Davis could make a shot, but Bass is the superior offensive player. But Davis was a great defender. Remember, he was among the league leaders in charges taken. And Bass is not the defender Davis was, so a little bit of a trade-off. And I think it's one of the reasons here early in the season we've seen Boston's defense maybe a little weaker. Not only Davis, but also Shaq and Perkins. I mean, they've lost some of that size on the front line.
Allen What a quick release, and it leads to an immediate timeout taken by Eric Spoelstra. That's the 6th three-pointer drilled by Ray Allen.
The pitch ahead pass, once it hits his hands, if you're not there to challenge the shot, it's gone. It's too late. It's in.
I want easy plays right now on the break. We are flying and make the fundamental play. They're ready to break. They're ready to break. I heard all 5 guys talking on that last possession. I can hear it.
Eric Spoelstra talking about easy plays. What he means there, they've had too many turnovers. Bosch on the inside the middle of that zone defense. But 20 turnovers, too many. He wants them to simplify it, and he liked the communication factor that he heard all 5 players talking on the floor. That's a good thing.
Miami with a 104-93 lead on Boston. Garnett with the jump hook. Garnett 12 points. Been a quiet night for Kevin Garnett.
They're going to need him to produce more than he has in these first 2 games as James misses on the 3. Without Paul Pierce in the lineup, Boston needs Garnett to be more aggressive. And Doc Rivers has continually harped on that, but not much of aggressiveness from him so far tonight.
Beautiful move by Rondo, able to split through, go glass. And that lead is down to 7.
Making that decision a little bit tougher on Doc Rivers, whether to pull anybody or not. They're right there, and they're staying with the zone defense.
Down by as many as 17 against the Knicks on Sunday. Cole went to the left hand and was turned back. Last touch by the Celtics. Miami with 7 on the shot clock. Boston in the midst of another run, a 10-2 spurt.
That looked like an offensive foul on Cole, clearing out with that right arm. Big possession here, 7 seconds.
Here's Cole with the runner. Bass grabs the rebound.
Well, the whole tempo of Miami's offense has changed now since Doc has gone to the zone defense.
Remember, we talked about the adversity that Miami hit last year. They were a front-running team. Adversity has hit here. Let's see how they respond.
Eric Spoelstra staying with the rookie Cole, with the Chalmers having his difficulties early on. The foul is called as Haslam wraps up Bass.
And Doc wants 2 free throws because he's saying that Bass was gathering to go up, but he's not going to get his wish there. Celtics ball out on the side.
13 foul called on Miami. Boston with 4. We're coming up on 4 minutes to play in this 4th quarter. At one point, the Heat led by 20 and looked as if they were on their way to a blowout. Rondo not happy. He was looking for Bass, and now looking to clear it out. Bass over Haslam.
He hesitated, and I don't know why. He had an open look. That's his shot.
James on the drive.
That's got to be Kevin Garnett's responsibility. He's the middle of that zone defense. He's got to get over there, square up, take the contact from James.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Allen running out, kept alive by Bass, battling his way and foul.
You know, he's given Boston a look on the offensive glass that has been missing for years. In fact, the last couple of years, Boston has been, if not the worst, one of the worst offensive rebounding teams in the NBA. Last year, fewer than 8 offensive boards per game. But here's that last play where we talked about that hesitation from Bass, a huge shot that would have cut it to 5. Instead, James ends up with the lay, and it's back to 9. But now Bass with a couple of free throws.
Foul on Wade, his first, and Bass 2 of 3 at the line. You mentioned the stat regarding offensive rebounds. That also, I would think, has a lot to do with the fact that the Celtics were a very good shooting team.
Yeah, it's all tied together, and they really value transition defense. And I think the fact that Kevin Garnett generally plays around the foul line takes him away from the hoop. But Bass is not afraid to mix it up. We saw him get 5 offensive boards against the Knicks. And I love what he's brought to this team in terms of toughness around the basket.
3.5 left in the 4th. And The Celtics continue to hang around. Wade lost it, but it was last touched by the Celtics. Miami with 12 on the 24. Wade to the step back. Way off. Here comes Rondo. Moving on the rookie Cole. And Bass. Cole for the charge.
That is a tough call for Boston. Looked to me like Cole just jumped underneath the feet of Brandon Bass.
You see the pass right there. He's definitely moving. He's moving to his left. It's a block all the way. And Doc Rivers has a right to be upset with that call.
That's a horrible call.
Miami with that 8-point lead. 3 minutes to play in the fourth. Cole with a big shot. He has 14 points. Boston calls for time. It is time for the play of the game, presented by Autotrader.com.
Talk about explosive fast breaks when you get the two best finishers in the league out in front. Wade could have taken it himself, but he knew LeBron was running with him, laid it up in front of the rim.
And how about the rookie out of Cleveland State, first-round pick Norris Cole, who has remained on the floor down the stretch.
You look at that, 15 for 17 from the free throw line tonight, 19 for 25 the other night, 0 3-point attempts. I love the approach.
Just under 3 remaining in the fourth. Garnett with a series of moves, and they swing it out. Here's Dooley on the drive, gets it over to Garnett, won't count. Well, Dick Pavetta said offensive foul, and then Dan Crawford coming over. And apparently he is saying the basket counts and a foul.
Number 6.
Well, he overruled Pavetta based on the positioning outside the arc. Although it looked like he had position outside the arc. The question is, was he moving? Either way, Danny Crawford came in and overruled the call of Dick Pavetta.
Did he call it one on LeBron James?
Well, this was the one earlier that Doc was so upset about. Cole just jumping in to Bass. That was the play of the game if you're a Boston fan, because that would have cut it down to about 5, I believe.
And Steve, apparently the basket did not count, but it's a shooting foul, and Dooling able to knock down both free throws. It's an 8-point game with 2 minutes 40 seconds to play in the fourth.
Mark, this zone defense for Boston in the first 3 quarters as Haslam shoots that baseline jumper. After 3 quarters, 29 free throw attempts for Miami.
Foul is called. It is on Haslam. Miami over the limit. The next foul for Boston will put them over. So once again, the Celtics to the line. It is Dooling for 2 more, and right here, let's check in with Ernie Johnson back in our Atlanta studio.
Yeah, Marv, the only team that has not played now is the Utah Jazz, and they are just now underway against Mike Brown's Los Angeles Lakers at Staples Center. We will take you there as soon as you guys are done in Miami. As you can see, it is scoreless in the very early stages.
All right, Ernie. Keon Dooling now 4 for 4 from the line, and he has 15 points in all. It's a 6-point Miami lead. They've led by as many as 20, shooting nearly 70% for a good portion of the game. How things have turned. Here's Cole, rebounded by Allen. Celtics very much alive. Dooling fires for 3. Keon Dooling off the bench and has exploded in this fourth quarter. It is down to a 3-point Miami lead.
I was saying, after 3 quarters, 29 free throw attempts for Miami against the Celtic defense. But since they've gone zone, just 0 for 2 from the foul line. Doc loves it. They are right there with a chance to steal it.
Well, this the closest the score has been since the end of the first quarter. How about the 12-year veteran out of Missouri, Keon Dooley? He has scored the last 7 points for the Celtics.
Yeah, 18 points on the night for Dooling, and it's been the defense, though, of Boston. The zone defense, as you mentioned, it's kept Miami off the foul line, and it's created some indecisiveness from this Miami offense, and it's also forcing the field goal attempts into the hands of Cole and Haslam instead of Wade and LeBron.
Do they stay with the zone right now, or do they go man-to-man, Boston?
Right back to the zone.
3-point Miami lead. Wade way off on the fadeaway. The lead pass intended for Goulding, broken up by Wade.
Bad decision right there. A huge possession with just under 2 minutes to go. That's a gamble. If it's not a clear pass in that situation, back it out.
Especially against this team.
And he is not shy. Norris Cole rising to the moment again. 16 points for the rookie. 10 of the 16 have come here in the fourth quarter.
And he is fearless. I mean, this is his second game in the NBA. He was playing for Cleveland State in the Horizon League last year. Here he is on the big stage, coming through.
Back at American Airlines Arena in Miami. A huge shot by the rookie Norris Cole, extending to a 5-point Miami lead. Bass on the pull-up. Yes.
Boy, he's gotten so good at that shot. He's little by little moving it out a step further, getting better and better at it. That time off the dribble.
5 for 9, 13 points for Bass. Another 10 remaining here in the fourth. Shot clock to 4. Cole from straight away again. Norris Cole with a sensational performance, and only, as you mentioned, Steve, his second NBA game. He now has 18 points, and he continues to hit big shots.
I don't know if I thought I would ever utter these words, but if you're Boston, you've got to get the ball out of Norris Cole's hands right now.
I just got a call from the Horizon League.
Did you?
Wondering why you're questioning your conference.
Well, he was the player of the year in that conference, and obviously pretty high level of basketball with Butler in the national championship game the last 2 years. But Cole, look at that, 12 points in the fourth. And Boston playing that zone, stopping all penetration from Wade and LeBron, doing a nice job of it. But as a result, there's wide open lanes for Cole.
And Eric Spoelstra going to Cole with Mario Chalmers committing those 4 consecutive turnovers at the start of the third quarter. 5-point lead for the Heat. Both teams over the foul limit. Boston has 1 timeout remaining. Miami has 2. Bass banks it. Miami's defense tightening up on that sequence. 40 seconds to play in the fourth. Wade putting moves on Goulding and shoots. Bosch with the rebound. And they pull it back. Foul is given by Goulding just to stop the clock. And that'll put Wade up the line for 2.
Now, Boston's not going to win this game, but you have to admire the effort following a very similar type game in New York on Christmas Day. Big deficit, hung tough, fought through it without their captain, Paul Pierce. So this is a Celtics team that is going to be fine. They just had a very difficult schedule to start the season off.
At the Garden Christmas Day, they were down by as many as 17 to the Knicks. They turned it with a 22-2 run in the third quarter. They had a couple of runs here. Miami in the third quarter missed 8 consecutive shots. That allowed the Celtics to get back into it. Wade converts on 1 of 2, and now the Celtics use their final timeout. It's a 20-second timeout.
Call a 20-second timeout.
Miami with a 113-107 lead on Boston. 21 seconds remaining in the fourth. Coming up, the second of our TNT doubleheader, Lakers and the Jazz. Lakers trying to get into that win column, losing their first 2 games. For Utah, their first game of the season, Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller will have it for you. That is coming up. 21 seconds to play here in Miami. The Heat is led by as many as 20 and now clinging to a 6-point lead. Boston had trouble getting it in. Garnett with a save, and it's taken by who else? The rookie Norris Cole. He's hit by Rondo. Another standing ovation for Norris Cole.
Now, Eric Spoelstra's got a new toy to play with. I mean, this guy is really electric. And again, as we talked about, he's coming in at a position where for the last several years, Miami really hasn't had a lot of athleticism. They've had mostly standstill jump shooters. And now the crowd chanting MVP to Norris Cole.
19 points for Cole, 13 coming in the fourth quarter. Thanks to our producer, Scott Coccarella, director with RLO, statistician Paul Evans, as Miami will make it a record of 2-0. Boston 0-2. As you mentioned, a rough way to start the season against the Knicks of the Garden. And now the Heat here in Miami. So that does it. The Heat able to hold on. They led by as many as 20. The Celtics came roaring back. And the final score, Miami 115 and Boston 107. 26 for LeBron. Dwayne Wade 24. Chris Bosh 18. Cole with 20. Ray Allen led the Celtics with 28, including 6 3-pointers. Marv Albert with the czar Mike Fratello, Steve Kerr, and Craig Sager saying so long from Miami. After a quick break, we take you to Kevin Harlan for the Jazz and the Lakers.